All right, here we are. We are back. It is Sunday. It is the Sunday show, and we're back. We missed the last couple of Sundays just because. Oh, the one was Father's Day, and the other one was just because. I think Gary Alonso, my here. But it's great to be back on the Sundays. We will be doing it on the regular, and yeah. First off, I want to wish everyone from the States here a happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. Gary Alonso.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the
Tony will,
show.
Tony will be joining us.
Look who we got below there.
Mahir.
Hello,
everyone. Secondly, I want to give a shout out. Secondly, I want to give a shout out to Glenn Kitely. Don't know what happened, but he's in hospital right now, and let's keep our prayers for Glenn.
Yep,
we don't know exactly what's going on, Gary. Gary?
Yeah, hoping for a speedy recovery, Glenn. Sounds like he said he's going to be in there for 3 days, so hope that he comes out of that pretty unscathed. So
yeah, Glenn, a fellow YouTuber, he's been on this channel with us as well, Mahir.
Yeah, plenty times, and very lovingly also.
Alonso, happy 4th of July, Alonso.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so hopefully Glenn is going to be all right. Prayers to him, and hopefully he gets a speedy recovery.
Yeah, Alonso, we always say the most important thing is your health, right?
Right.
Family and health. And that's number one. Even it goes above Arsenal fan circle, family and health, right?
Yes, sir.
We nestle in maybe third or fourth somewhere there. I don't know. Jokingly, of course. All right. Fourth season. We're going to be trundling into our fourth season here in the channel, Mahir. So I thought today we would just sort of freestyle it. We want to get the people in the chats when they come in. We want to get them to control the comments. What do you want to talk about? People watching live right now, and as we gain viewership here, we'll see. But Mahir, what do you want to start off with? What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Arsenal or Euros? What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, firstly, well done to England. I was talking to Gary about it and Alonso actually. Well done to England getting through and giving Ukraine a hiding. 4 goals. I mean, Maguire header, Harry Kane header. I mean, good for them, man. Good for them, really and honestly. If I was supporting England, I'd be over the moon. And yeah, and all the teams in the group of death getting knocked out, simply amazing.
Germany, Portugal.
Yeah, France. I mean, shocking. I mean, I know I want the deal for Granit Xhaka to get done ASAP, but that's why I didn't want that delay. I mean, that's a delay now also, now that they were still around until the next round and then got sorted. But yeah, we're gonna basically freestyle. I just want to shout out to the panel here. Shout out to everybody in the chats, whether you're watching it live. Please go ahead, and if you breathe oxygen, go and hit that like and subscribe button.
If you walk on 2 legs, if you walk on 4 legs, have your canines do it. Have your cats do it. Whatever means possible, any means possible.
By any means necessary.
Crawl to that like button. Just touch it. Touch that like button. Yes, Gary. Congratulations, England move on into the semi-finals, and I know what it's like. I'm Irish, but I do know what it's like in tournament football when a team progresses and you see that building, that fever building towards a semi-final or final appearance.
Yeah, so yeah, this is a US based show, even though we are spread across the globe, South in Africa and in Norway, but yeah, I am American by passport, but I am British born, so I do get to cheer for them. They don't all claim me, but I get to cheer for them as and I know I guess being a Premier League fan, I know a lot about the players, so it makes it easy as well. So yeah, it's good to see England go through. At the start of this whole thing, I always thought they were a team that had enough depth all around to be able to make it through, and that's what you need, right? When you go to your bench, when you change your starting lineup, you shouldn't lose much, and we've seen that so far. We haven't lost much, and we've gained more every time. The later and the more we play, because we can switch things around. Saka was out injured. Grealish didn't even play, right? And those are two players that I think changed things after the first two games of the groups. So it's good to see that it is there, and Kane eventually kind of, as far as I'm concerned, changed what he was doing, and it looked so much better in this last game yesterday. Sterling wasn't scoring, but he did create he created that first assist to Kane. Really nice. I mean, I was looking at the replay this morning, and he gets actually bumped off the ball, but it actually created more space for him, and then he was able to just get to the ball quickly and put the ball into the box, and Kane got on the end of it, and like he does, like we expect him to do, he finished his right. So so I enjoyed that part. So yeah, I'll take the win. Got what, two more, right, everybody? Yeah. So I like the song. I'm not gonna say the song. I heard you're not supposed to say the song until you're in the finals now, because I think the last time they sang the song, right, they weren't in the finals yet, and it didn't work. All right, so let's see how far they go. I mean, they should win this one, but Denmark is a team on a mission, right? They've got Christensen that's in their thoughts, so they are playing, not necessarily playing for him, but it's just players need something. They need that little boost, and that, I think, that gave them the boost that they needed, right? So
something to rally around, Gary. I mean, terrible circumstances 2 or 3 weeks ago when the tournament started, Ericsson, and I think they lost that game, and I think they got through on. Did they get through on 3 or 4 points, Denmark? But I
don't think anybody got through on 3 points, right? I mean, I don't.
4 points then. Yeah,
I think everybody had. Well, you know what? Maybe you can second place goes in no matter what, right? So maybe. Yeah. But I didn't think they.
They are a team though, Gary, that sort of is growing. They've gotten past a couple of other rounds then, and here they are in the semifinals against England, and that is a game on a knife edge. But I'm gonna go to Alonso now.
You're right. They got through on 3 points.
3 points,
and it was goal difference that got them. That was the difference, because the three teams had 3 points. So they got there. They were the worst losers, I guess.
I think the Ukraine were the worst for third place team. Yeah. Ukraine scraped in, and of course England beat them last night. Shevchenko, the manager. Alonso, your thoughts on the England game? You were certainly enjoying it yesterday.
Yeah, so it was pretty good game. I was talking to my friends about the conundrum about having Gerrard and Lampard on this team together, and how much it never worked out, right? Even if it was England's quote unquote golden generation, and they never succeeded because of that midfield, even with Wayne Rooney. But you see a different team this time around, because they're young, they're fresh. It seems like they had nothing to lose, and you have a lot of captains on that team. Like you have Maguire, you have Henderson, you have Harry Kane, who's somewhat of a captain for our Spurs, and they just gravitate to each other. And even guys like Luke Shaw, who hasn't been a regular at Manchester United up until this year, they've all come together, and even they've spoken so highly. They've spoken so highly of Saka as well, that it's okay to have talented youngsters as well, to have something to fall back on. And even with Grealish, he's captain as well for Villa. So they had all these captains just work for each other and play towards their strengths. Even Declan Rice is also a captain. So you have all these players that know their role and leave their egos aside to make it better for England to succeed.
Yeah, Mahir, Alonso's making a great point there. You have a lot of leadership in the English team. When you look around, just starting to realize it now, you got Harry Maguire, a leading player at Manchester United. You got Declan Rice and Harry Kane. All of these players, Grealish, leaders in their own club teams. I hear.
Yeah, that's just the thing. I wish that sometime very soon we can get some sort of structure like that where there is 3, 4 leaders. There's a leader in the midfield, there's a leader up front, there's a leader in defense, possibly 2 of them, where you can have more chemistry, in terms of communication wise, like being able to say to the back line, listen here guys, hold it, stay where you are, we're under immense pressure here, don't do anything stupid. And the guys actually listen to that, and it clicks a switch in their brains where they sit still and they hold the lines instead of going under pressure and folding like a lawn chair. And conceding 1, conceding 2, and then just like that, their heads are out of the game, and it's like game over literally. Because then the 3rd goal comes, the 4th goal comes, and I wish we had or have or get leaders all throughout the team. There are a few characters that we can talk about at the moment, but hopefully they'll become future leaders.
So listen, I'm going to put this up here, and it is going to be chat room topics. So people in the chats that are joining us, and Darren, I sent you the link as well if you want to join in. Chat room topics, get involved, people. So you want to talk about anything, Arsenal or tournament related, we can go into that.
I guess the one thing I was just listening to, my hair finishing up. I don't know, during I was watching the replay, and at one point, I guess this is probably true for most. Right now, England hasn't had any. They haven't been on. They've had some tough games, but they have not had to come back from any big issues yet, right? Going down a goal, going down, a player, anything big like that during a game. So they haven't had to do any of that stuff. So. Do they need to do that to go through this, or that I don't think they do, because I think they're deep enough that they should be able to put the pressure on most anyone. So I think that's going to be something that if Southgate can not have to deal with, it'd be nice, right? Nice to go through a tournament not having to have be nice to go through without conceding a goal. But because that would make it easy, right? If you don't concede a goal, then it's a plus there. And if your players get better every time they go out there, right? So that would be nice too, right? So we'll see.
I think at some point, Gary, you're going to face adversity at some point in the tournament.
Yeah.
Be it going a goal down, be it a decision going against you. And the team has to be built to overcome that, and I think they could do that this year. It's going to be very tight. I think they got to beat, obviously, Denmark, and it looks like Italy on the other side. Darren, I wanted to greet you as well, Darren. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Darren. Hello. How's the foot going?
It's getting better. It's healing very quickly, so I'm quite glad about that.
So you can't scare is it the cat or the dog? I keep
it's normally the cat.
The cat that you okay.
It scares both at different times, celebrating goals for the Arsenal.
The thing is, yesterday obviously when England were scoring all those 4 goals, 4 times I think I scared it to death. So I think after the 4 points you got used to it, I think.
Yeah.
So, Darren, is there anything you want to talk about specifically? I mean, you're going to be here for the duration of the pod or most of it, but throw out any topics you want to start off the conversation with.
Well, I definitely want to talk about the England game from yesterday. I think because of the amount of people have doubted England, although they get far, they've got further than I think because they've got a better team now. They've got a better squad, so I think we've got more chance of getting a bit further, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, Darren, the suspicion was England always had enough going forward, and it looked like this squad had a lot of talent going forward, a lot of young players, especially in the wide positions. Sancho, Saka, Grealish, all of that competition. The suspicion was that their midfield and defense wasn't as good as the players going forward.
Yeah, I think because we had some good sort of left backs and right backs. I think, especially like with Walker and Shaw, it took a bit of pressure off the defenders a little bit. So I'm quite pleased with how, especially Stones and Maguire as well. So I think we did pretty well. I think even with defence, but I think our right back and left back did a lot of hard work for us. I think.
Yeah. Gary, going into the tournament, there was that controversy about so many right backs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's still a controversy to some degree. I mean, you'd like to have left footers on the left side if you have players that can fit the bill, right? So it hasn't caused any problems yet so far, and I don't think it should, just because I think the team is so deep everywhere else that it shouldn't matter, right? But you would think with a squad, and I don't mean just the ones that made it to Euros, but those that are part of the England squad as a whole, that go through the trials and whatnot, that they can't find more than one, right? A left foot on that side, I think, is a little it's strange, right? It's strange. So yeah, they're making do, and I think they can switch things around to where it doesn't really matter who's on the left side, right? So it seems it's working so far. A team hasn't been able to actually figure out how to, see if make that an issue for England so far, right? That's the problem.
Not conceding any goals.
Yeah, he's not conceding any goals. So then I guess it's working so far. So don't break it, right? I mean, I like I said, after the first two games, I was happy to have Sterling sit, Kane sit, but now it's too late, right? Now they've been playing and they're getting better and better as they move along, which is what you want to see if they're going to stay in the matches. So it's working for Southgate, but he's got two more to go, and he should be able to do it, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
No, I think we've already touched on Denmark and the trials and tribulations that squad has been through, something that no other squad has been through in this tournament in relation to Eriksen. That's bonded that team together, so that's going to be a tough hurdle, and one that England should not overlook. Mahir, what's been your thoughts on the tournament as a whole, looking on from South Africa?
Some good football though. I won't lie to you. It was making us miss the football less, the Premier League, Champions League, Europa, a little less, tiny little bit, because
we're going to have to go another year. We're going to miss the Europa for another year.
Well, I mean, still back with the Premier League football in about a month. I mean, which is fantastic. We'll be back on our usual panel. Special guests.
We will be back here, and these are some of the things here. I'm going to put them up. Some of the things we're going to be doing. One of the things I like to do, Mahir, as I've said before, is preview how Arteta's thinking. Trying to understand Arteta. That's what I call it. And so season 4 features will include pre-game and post-game podcasts, guests from Premier League channels, and much more. Stay tuned. We're gonna every season we want to change it up a little bit, so we're gonna do new things with that. But England against Denmark, Mahir. So, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on Denmark as well?
The whole incident with Eriksen. I'm so glad he was off to a fast recovery. That he did get off to it, because sometimes incidents are meant to happen by the grace of God, so that it can act like a catalyst. Because sometimes, say for instance, for example, you're one of the teammates of Eriksen on the pitch. You may feel an extra urge already on top of having to win the game, even more for your teammate say for example, he's an old legend, man. Like an old legend that's been in the game. He's been around for so long and he just hasn't won anything. there's that little bit of an extra catalyst that makes you want to say, you know what, he's been here so, let's just win one title for him. Just at least one title in his time here, so he can, if he's going to retire here as a legend, we can at least say we won the title for him. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of my thinking when it comes to events like that.
Gary, looking at the other side of the draw, Italy have progressed and Spain have progressed. They've done it in sort of different ways. Spain probably used up all their luck in that penalty shootout.
Yeah, they've at the beginning of this tournament, they didn't look like they could figure out how to get the ball in the net, and they had chances upon chances upon chances, and they're taking those chances now. So I think everybody has to watch out. Right, it's been back-to-back five goal games. I think they've had it.
Yeah, the last this quarterfinal.
Yeah, so I think they've two back-to-back 5-point games, and they went into the Switzerland game where I think any team could have won that one, right? And it wouldn't have been a surprise based on the way the game went, but it would have been a surprise that Spain didn't pull it out. Didn't actually win it. So I think that's the thing for me going into this one is Italy has looked solid all the way through. All right. Spain could put a lot of pressure on them, and here's a scenario because so far this thing has been scripted perfectly for England, right? They didn't have the group of death they didn't really get bothered. That didn't really hurt them. They got Germany and they were able to get through them. Ukraine, I think, came in a little bit, probably under depleted actually. Right. Denmark, I think they had a tough game against Czech Republic. I mean, I saw it was a Souček with a bloody head dressing on, right? So I have a feeling that game was pretty tough, and Denmark had to do that. So whereas for England, I think Ukraine didn't put up much of a fight for them. And once the second goal went in, but I think still the first goal. But the one thing that I caution is that first of the 45 minutes of that first half for England, the last like 30 or 40 of it for me anyways, if that's Denmark, I kind of feel like a goal would get in, right?
Yeah.
The way that they're playing right now, that if you kind of give them a little bit of a rope, give them a little bit of a lifeline, they will take advantage of it. So we should be the more aggressive team, the more dominant team in the game, I believe. So no matter what they do, I don't think it'll be enough. And then if we do go to the bench, for example, say we don't even Grealish is healthy and Saka is healthy, and they're sitting on the bench, or they start, whatever the case may be. It should be England should have what they need to be able to get past them if they play their cards right. So, but Denmark looks like a team on a mission. So yeah. I
think that was the first time I've ever sneezed on a live stream. So, got it.
Sorry, bless you.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's Spain. Gary said Spain would be, could be a tough proposition for Italy. It's going to be, and John, I think it's John Revenine FC. It's coming home. We're finally getting people in here. Don Juan, thanks for joining. Hello,
yes.
folks.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, no, I mean Spain's
fantastic slab head.
Yeah. Spain is like a roll of the dice. You don't know what you're going to get, right? I don't know about defensively how they are, but I think definitely offensively they could be pretty tough for anyone. So if they're clicking on the offensive side, then you could be in trouble. All right. But it may not even matter because they probably could still miss, right? So it's
what it says, well, people in the chats, bring us the topics that you want to talk about. This is an open discussion between the five of us on here and all of you in the chats as well. So
I saw something on Twitter just a couple minutes ago. The men's first team will be arriving at Colney in 3 days.
Yeah. I thought
then-
it was actually tomorrow.
And then
But-
5 days later, they head out to Scotland. So the season is getting ready to go. I mean, we're going to see. I mean, this is our. I don't know. Maybe just taking us down that road, but I think this is the problem, right? Arteta needs to have his players in, right? We're 3 days away from starting up the season. Essentially,
Yeah.
Is he bringing back those players that are on their way out? Is he, because he probably kind of has to, right? Because until they're gone, they're here. And is he bringing in the new players that we need? I listed that to you guys in the in our group chat. The things that I think need to be done.
Yeah,
We need to get a starting 11. So
which is
Yeah.
perfect because I was gonna use one of the topics as filler here as your wish list, and you were reading my mind, Gary. I don't know how. That's kind of weird. It's almost like we've been podcasting all year, all year or something. Almost like you know the way I think, I know the way you think, and the same with my hair. Alonso, let's go to you, Alonso. The other side of the draw, I really fancy Belgium to get through. Belgium, Italy. Italy controlled that game really well.
Yeah, I mean, like it was like Italy of old, right? Where they're always solid at defense, and they know their game plan, and that's how they beat you is defense, and they know how to, I guess, stop the opponent's attack. That's always been their
Forte,
their key, right? So
their strength.
and like I said before, I think those wins, those blowout wins that Spain had, were really okay, but I think against Denmark, or excuse me, Switzerland, where it shows their vulnerability. I think Italy's gonna smash Spain actually. I think Italy is made to win this tournament at least. I think it's gonna be a tough game for Spain to overcome, because I think Italy's on fire right now. And I think that with Spain, I think they're just too tired. They got through a tough match against Switzerland. So I think they have tired legs. To be honest with you,
Darren, how do you see it going? Italy. I fancied Belgium. I'm going to say I fancied Belgium. I thought that they could get through against Italy. I thought the golden generation of Belgium would do something. Yeah, looking at that back line, you got two old Spurs players and one old Arsenal player in Vermaelen. Wouldn't have given you much confidence, but you see Kevin De Bruyne going forward, Lukaku's who's had a good tournament, but Italy played with a lot of control, Darren.
I kind of found like with Belgium, he had Kevin De Bruyne, he had a few injury issues, so I think in my opinion, I think Italy will do pretty well against him if anything, because there's, I said, a few injuries. I don't know how Kevin De Bruyne is at the minute, but I don't know. I'm sort of drawn towards Italy at the minute.
Yeah, Gary, you would think it's going to be Italy getting to the final, right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna put your money down. It's an easy bet for Italy, but like I said, this has been a weird Euros. So Spain could get in there. I mean, they're here. They're in the semis now, and I don't think it's all just luck, right? I think that it is a lot of what we expected them to be able to do, and what they've done, what they've shown us, has actually come to fruition, right? They've actually been, offensively, they've been pretty good, and they haven't had to require their defense to do much for them, because they've been able to outscore their opponents, or which is true. This is the only way you win. But I think they score enough that their defense struggling, as you saw Ravenite's comment there. Their defense is, Spain's defense isn't really that good.
Yeah.
But they've been able to score at will. I mean, that weird quarterfinal? No, that weird round of 16 where teams with a lead with 10 minutes to go, be it one or two goals, it didn't really matter. Game was going to be tight. So yeah, so that's where Spain could win, Italy should win, right? I mean, Spain on a good day will beat them, but Italy consistently would always win this match.
Yeah, the judgment call. Matt here. You there? Darren, how do you rate the tournament overall?
Which one?
The Euros 2020. They played in 2021.
I think because of, like I said before, I think because of the amount of doubt that people have had with England and how I think a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, it's coming home," but there's always that barrier that we've always had. But I think now that we've got a decent team, I can see us going quite fun. I can see us going to the final. To be honest,
Yeah.
we've got like people like you got teams like Germany. What's going on with them? Because they're normally pretty good. So I was very surprised and very pleased, obviously, that
Germany are in a rebuild state right now, and they're going to be good again. It's just going to take a few more years for Germany.
Well, now that Tony Kroos is now retired, so see what happens.
Don Juan really wants to see an Italy-England final. Alonso, Don Juan also said Belgium ain't serious. I mean, they're a young nation, Belgium are, but they've just had, a rich vein of players come through to make them a serious international side. But traditionally, they haven't been a powerhouse, Alonso.
Yeah, and I remember whenever they beat USA back in 2014, I think that was the start of that turn in which you saw Belgium, I guess, finally overcome Holland as far as that rivalry goes. If that's even a rivalry, but you saw them slowly come along, and maybe 2012 Euros, maybe then. But you saw something in Belgium that you thought, okay, this is finally coming around to where they can compete in World Cups, and they have, and as well as Euros in the past. And so they finally got some players in that they want to thrive, and not only in the Premier League, but also in La Liga and Germany as well. So, and Italy. And so, you see them come up, and that still is a good generation to have, because you got guys in leagues like Lukaku did this year, as well as De Bruyne and Hazard, but he's not hurt. But his brother's been pretty good for Dortmund as well. So, yeah, and I think that this is a golden generation, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make an impact in the World Cup as well, because they're still that good.
Yeah, they're going to have to regenerate those defenders, Gary. Belgium will. I mean, they're getting old. I mean, Vermaelen, I think, is in his mid-30s now.
Yeah, and that's why when you look at the English team, you're like, yeah, they're pretty set up for this. Either you have to be basically really good and lucky in terms of injuries, like Italy is, because they are. They probably have the most experienced team out there, right, in terms of players with triple-digit caps, right, that are playing still, playing well, right. So I think I believe that's the stat that I saw. So I think that's why they looked good. But the trick was, could they make it through a tournament like this? So far, they have. So I think they've got the experience to beat teams. But I think the other teams that we talked about, they're all kind of somewhat in transition, in the sense that they have some older quality players, but then they have some younger ones that are coming up and just not there yet. England has a happy median there, where some of their older players are playing well, but also everybody else that's younger, I think they haven't really taken too many steps back with them, so they're all playing good there as well. So I think that's why the depth for England is so good, based on what I've seen. Italy is, like you said, Spain is going through a transition, right? They don't have as strong as a team as you would have expected from them, right? I mean, when some of the top teams in Spain don't even have players on the Spain national team.
You look at Barcelona, you look at Real Madrid, and they didn't win the league this year. It was close all the way, but they were not strong enough to win the league over Atletico. So that tells you their international side is suffering as well. Mancini, though, has done a great job. And as John says here, imagine if Kane wins the Golden Boot from here after people were slagging him off for weeks. I do wonder if he can get 3 goals in 2 games. I think that's going to be a stretch. to get 3 goals against an Italy side, or and the Denmark side is going to be tough, Gary.
Well, yeah, but I mean, wouldn't you like that just to make it easy, right? At least I would like that to make it easy. I mean, he owes us, right? Some would say he owes us from the first 2 games where we didn't get what we wanted out of him. So why not make up for it, to finish this thing off, right? I mean, he hasn't won a big trophy to talk about, right? What the one way he can accomplish that and shut everybody up in terms of, he's not won anything, is to actually go out there and do what we expect him to do, which is play pretty well and put himself in positions to score. I mean, this team will do, this team will, I think, will do that for him, whether he's up. The problem is he's never up. He hasn't been up there always, right? They look up for him and he's not there. So, I mean,
this is a bad combination. We're asking the chat room to control the conversation, and look who's just arrived in the chat room. It's Brownie. Hi, lads. Hope you're well. So, yeah, we did ask you in the chat room to.
We can tell Brownie we've already talked about Bitcoin. So
Spain.
Next topic.
Can I just say, just remember who he plays for. We've all been nice about Kane. Just remember who he plays for.
No, the reason I don't even bring it up because that's not, because no, I don't. Now you're gonna make me cry if you. No, I don't. See, you started it. All right, I didn't want to go there. I'm trying to keep my, It's the English shirt that's on there. So whoever the striker is, I'm just going to go with that now. Whoever the striker is, he let us down in the first 2 matches. Now I want the striker in the next 2 rounds to show up, right? That's all I want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what's his name again? I don't know. I don't care.
Henderson was fantastic against Ukraine. The way he kept England attack moving forward was great to watch. He just needs to share it. 3 is hard. I agree. But if he can share it and England win, I'll take that. I'm sure Kane won't mind not scoring as long as they go on to win the tournament. Going into hiding for a few years is even I'm admitting that it could be coming home. It's possible, but they've got a tough Italy team ahead. Stan, we don't celebrate Harry Kane international goals in this household. We just don't. Or club goals. How about club goals, Stan? Do they matter? Is that something you celebrate? Don Juan, preach. People love slagging him off. Henderson was superb when he came on. Henderson is Alonso. He's a great controller of a midfield, a great controller of the tempo of the game, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. He drags teams forward.
Yeah, and that's what the captain should do, right? I mean, if you're thinking about it, I mean, he's a good player for Liverpool side as well, and it kind of shows you that. I think that this England team, no matter if Harry Kane's the captain or David Rice or Harry Maguire or what have you, I think that Henderson's a good captain for England if he were picked to be. So I think he shows the tempo. I like that seeing like him and Grealish with Saka in midfield, but that's unrealistic, right? So, but yeah, I mean Henderson is a good player for Liverpool, and he's even better for England. And I was happy he scored. To be honest with you.
Hey Gary, Henderson learned all that from Steven Gerrard at Liverpool. Steven Gerrard passed that passion on to Henderson, but you have to be that kind of player as well, to be able to take those instructions from a senior player and move forward with it and carry on the culture at the club level at Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I mean, the one thing that
Arsenal, something we're lacking at here.
Yeah. Well, leadership is key. It's key to all these things, right? And it's leadership either by example or just by your sheer effort that you put on the pitch. And Henderson does that. His first match back, I think. I mean, this is kind of, I guess, my maybe it's just me, but they allowed him to get back into form, right? And I always would like to see that with some of the younger players that also might need that as well, right? They let him come back and grow into the tournament, and then he did it. If his injuries were worse, then it probably would have he would have had a setback. But he's been able to come in and get consistently better, so that's been nice to see. They need that. I mean, would have been different to see what would have happened if he was ready to go to start this season off, and because he probably would have played, right? So maybe things would have looked a little bit different when he if he was able to start a match, start the season, start the tournament. So good to see him, man. He scores his first goal, right? And I had to look at this. I had to look this up in 60 matches, 60 caps. So that's pretty good for that's good. It's spreading the wealth around. We want more of that, right? So who else hasn't scored, right? All right, yeah. So it'd be nice to see. Yeah.
So Mr. Bungle's in the house. It is his 58th
Oh, happy birthday
today.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Mr. Bungle. It's always nice when people are willing to share their age. And, you get an idea for who your subscribers are and who's in the chat, and it's always good.
What I'd love to know is what everyone's favourite goal is at the minute. What's everyone's favourite goal they've seen so far? That'd be a good question.
I'd have to go for that Schick goal all the way against Scotland, all the way from the halfway line.
The goalkeeper's all tangled in the goal. Just like just a comedy of errors. It was
when
just
you
like
score a goal like that, and the goalkeeper gets tangled up in a net like a troller is just pulling out of the sleeve. It's nice when those things come off,
I mean, because that's a cool goal, but then you also got to think the Ukraine goal in the last minute, right? The last kick of the game to make it to the quarters, right? So that's a for a team Ukraine, that's pretty big for them, right? Yeah. So I mean,
I think Holland had a couple of nice goals as well from Gini Wijnaldum. Holland were a team I think that came forward a little bit in this tournament. So happy birthday, Mr. Bungle!
Yes.
Having a few spiced rums.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Are those straight on the rocks, or is that with a little bit of sugar water, Coke, Sprite, whatever?
I'm sure he'll let us know. So we're going to transition a little bit. We can get back to the Euros if we want to. This conversation is going to go all over the place, but I think we need to sort of speak a little bit about Arsenal. And I think the biggest thing right now would be Saliba, right? Is that the biggest news, Arsenal related? Mayor, what's your feelings with Saliba? I mean, we've talked about this kid forever. It's like he should have played for Arsenal 50 times by now. We've talked about him so much.
You know what? It's a damn shame. I'm convinced Arteta doesn't know what he's doing. Because surely, Wesley Fofana, his teammate, he's playing in a Leicester team week in, week out, looking like a top centre-back. Exactly the same. They moved at the same time. And like I said also in the beginning, so guys, he signed like a 5-year contract with us. I don't mix around with need for Top notch, Mr. Bungle.
5-year contract, yeah. And he's going to be a homegrown player. He's been with us that long then, my hair.
Yeah, I just don't understand anything that's going on with the situation, to be honest with you. I just know that Arteta doesn't know what the hell he's doing because all these small things, they add up. How many times have we signed a player and loaned him out immediately and loaned him out again and eventually sold him after 2 and then realized, oh my God, we made a mistake. We need a centre back. And then we go and we spend unnecessary money, which we don't have. And then guess what? That signing that we signed is a flop also. I'm not saying, I just don't think Saliba is good enough. Dodgy Raul transfer.
Don Raul.
We haven't seen him. So we don't know.
Exactly. We've seen a preseason game against the MK Dons last season. Let me go around the house here. Alonso, what's your take on Saliba? Let me just say, everyone in chats, divert the conversation. You want to talk about something else? Throw it in the chat section. We'll definitely get to it. Alonso?
Yeah, so, Saliba, yeah, it's right. So I think that, like I mentioned to Gary and right here before we started, is that, Arteta he has issues with the younger players. And what I don't understand is like why is that? And you see Saliba winning all these awards, head of month and all these other things, and you see his defensive partner Fontana, right? Do well at Leicester, and there's no excuse on why Saliba shouldn't be starting. And as a fan, you feel discouraged by that, right? Because you feel that there's something there in Saliba, and then you hear that he's being loaned out again. Not only he's not being loaned out to a Premier League team or a Championship team, but he's getting loaned out again in France, where I don't know why, but you would think that if he needs experience, right, to get a hold of the game, the English style of play, you would send it out. You would want to be sent out on loan to a team in England, a Premier League or Championship side, right? So
yeah, exactly, Alonso. What is he going to learn that he didn't learn for the 6 months that he was already in Liga?
Right. So it's just discouraging. It's like you pay all this money for a youngster, and then you build him up to have all this hype, right? And then he's in out again. It's so disappointing from an Arsenal fan standpoint.
Darren, what's your take on Saliba?
I agree with what most people have said. No, we haven't seen enough of him to make that judgment. So I'd rather we see a bit more of him first, and then sort of later on, if people still feel the same, then loan him out or whatever. But I'd rather see more of him on the pitch, so that we have a bit of a judgment on what we think of him.
Darren, we spent 27 million 2 seasons ago. 2.5 seasons ago, we loaned the back out. We thought it was a good plan to do that with Saint Etienne, but somewhere along the line, something's gone badly wrong with Saliba.
See, this is why I say that Arsenal shouldn't be just spending money just to get a player. They should work on if this players can be good enough for us. Are they good enough to play? Or, injury sort of status. So I'd rather they spend money on a player that's going to be a good player, not just a player that they just think, oh yeah, let's just stick him on the bench for a bit, play him now and again. Because that to me is a waste of money. We're wasting money on players that we don't even play. So
Plastic, Gary. You look at that right centre back position. We have Holding. Okay, I'm sorry he cost 2.5 million, whatever it was. You combine that with a possible 50 million from Ben White. 52, and then add 27. You've got basically 80 million invested in the right center back situation that we haven't solved yet. 80 million has been tied up will be possibly tied up in the last few years.
Yeah. Yeah, this the situation is a little it epitomizes kind of the Arsenal that we've been watching, right? They have no money, right? No money. But they probably are the only team that probably went out there and spent almost $30 million on a player that, if you look at the history of the center back position, was never going to play. I mean, I want him to play because Arsenal had spent the money on him. And the little bit that I've seen of him, he's worthy of getting time on the field. But in the long, I kind of look at it both ways. In the long, if you look at it long term, he needs to be able to play a lot more than he is right now, and he's going to with Arsenal, right? Will him and Gabriel be able to play for a whole season together? That's probably not. Nobody's seen anything like that, and it probably isn't. He's not that player yet. He's not a player that can come in and just command that spot, right? Gabriel needs a little bit of help, and Saliba isn't ready, right? He's not ready. I mean, he's got certain things about his game that are a little bit too risky, and you can't afford to do that in this game. He needs to work on his craft. He needs to get better. He needs to play. All right, he's going into his third year now, and we're like, he hasn't really had a consistent level of game since he got here. All right, and part of that's on Arsenal. Part of that is on the way to Arsenal's handled this situation after they've decided to do the right thing, right? I mean, I think, I guess trying to get him out before this all happens is good, but I also don't like the fact that there was a message stating that, guess what? he's going to have an opportunity to play if he comes in the preseason and gets in some games. So I'm not sure where that message came from.
Mixed messages.
Yeah, that message doesn't make any sense based on what we're hearing now, right?
Yeah.
If he was going to get a chance, then what? And then he was going to go to the Olympics, and then he's not going to the Olympics, and then now he's going out on loan, and he's not going on loan to a Premier League team, but he's part of the future. I don't know which one to believe now. This is what we're seeing with Arsenal. They just don't have a really good plan. They're not going out there and doing the right things the right way as soon as they should. Right? If he was not part of the future, if he's part of the future, then that would mean he's not going back to France to play. Right? You want him close to home. Two, you want to have him be acclimated to the English game because he's going to come. He's going to come back from France and be ready to go. I don't think so.
No.
He's had these 3 years are not going to get him prepared for a Premier League season when he comes in, right? So I don't know which way to go with this one. He needs
Nobody does.
he needs the games. He needs the games in England. He's not getting that. He got a choice. He got a choice, which I understand is part of how it works. He gets to choose. But if he's choosing that, then is he saying that I don't kind of believe in the plan, the process of getting into the Arsenal squad anymore, right? If what player going to, for example, Barcelona, that's part of their future, is going to come and play in England, right? When they don't want, then I don't think they would do that. I don't think Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, these big teams would do that. If they can keep their players close to home, right? Especially, it sounds like there are a lot of opportunities for them to play in England. So, and then you don't have to go through. Let's get him used to playing in this kind of a style in this league, right? Because he could be playing in the league right now, based on some of the teams that they're on their list. So I kind of feel like. If this is one of those where if he goes out there and he has a really good, set of games and they can sell him for $20 million, then that's probably okay. Because they've just wasted 3 years, I think, of the 27 that they got.
Yeah.
So I don't. Here's what I feel is going to happen. He's going to go out there. He's going to play really well. Arsenal's going to do the usual, try to extend him to command it, and him being the smart person with his agent probably going to go, it's okay, right? It's all right. It's okay. I'm not going to, because now they're losing the control. Now is the time to extend him if he's part of the future, right? If he's part of the future, you extend him now, not, you see something in him that, what, I put him out there for a year. He comes back. He's at the least coming off my bench, What I don't see what part of having him go away, come back, and then be part of the system is going to work. It's going to work.
It's really a frustrating situation. Alonso, as Gary mentioned, Alonso, we wanted to see him paired with Gabriel this past season. Doesn't look like we're ever going to get to see Saliba paired with Gabriel at the back.
Yeah, and it's kind of discouraging. Like I said, I wanted for Saliba to be playing right alongside Gabriel, but it's not going to happen. Because I kind of envy Leicester fans because they have a good center back and Fontana, and we wanted to see that in Saliba, but I don't know. It's kind of frustrating. Like I mentioned, I don't think Arteta trusts a lot, and he needs to start because this is how this Arsenal team needs to be successful. Is him trusting the players he has, and whether they're younger, of course they're gonna have more heart and more desire upon a performance to where our senior players don't even know how to score goals, right? We need them to, but. It's a mess, and I don't know where it came from or where it started, but it needs to stop because it's just a mess.
Yeah,
and I see Stan saying that Martinelli could go on loan So where's he doing? Where are these guys doing? I mean, Marshall.
Yeah, and listen, we have to be very careful. Not every story is going to end up being the truth as well. So we have to try and pick the bones out of this meal and not get a bone stuck in our throat here.
But it's frustrating. I mean, just seeing that, it's just kind of it's a downer. It really is.
Yeah. Mahir, you're next in rotation. Gary's going to have to bite his lip a second more. Mahir, as Don Juan said, why didn't we loan him to a Premiership team? It makes no sense. Surely if you're trying to get Saliba to a point. I'm looking at Patrick Vieira, and we'll get on to Vieira in a second because I said on Thursday night his path, I think he's judged his path back to the Premiership perfectly. So he could be one of the better placed coaches to be in place if and when Arteta leaves. He's come back to Crystal Palace. Same thing here should be happening with Saliba. I mean, he's had the loan in Ligue 1, and now he should really be playing in a Premiership team, be it Newcastle, be it Crystal Palace, whatever's going to get him used to the rigors of English football and the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wordless.
You're flabbergasted. Nobody can make sense of this.
Arteta is a clown. I hope somebody in Arsenal or somebody Arsenal orientated towards the club can see the clips here on Arsenal Fan Circle from an honest viewpoint of a big supporter of the club. Supporters. Arteta is a clown. We do not have any idea why is he still in the club. He's finished 8th twice. For the first time in 20 plus years, we are not in any, I stress this, underline, bold face, any European competitions.
Yeah. And we were lucky last season. We had to win the FA Cup to be in the Europa League. You know, alarm bells were going off then, even through winning a competition.
And he said he was saving that squad for the Europa League. That's why we got knocked out of the FA Cup. And only to get knocked out by Mr. Good Evening himself.
Yeah.
Seriously, guys. And now he wants to loan out Saliba with like how you just said, with how we're gonna wait. How Gary and Alonso said, how we're gonna wait, and then when it's too late, when we've got no power, the player is just gonna turn around and say no thanks, and he's gonna go on to become a worldie somewhere. Guys, I don't know, fam. I'm just gonna sit and eat my burger finish.
I'm gonna get to you, Gary. Darren, Saliba was voted one of the better players in the league last season, so he's got to have some potential. He played, there is potential there. This is just a case, in my viewpoint, that the manager does not fancy the player for whatever reason. But it's a 27 million asset that you have at your club you should be using.
Yeah, definitely. I think he has been he's been an asset to our club. So, for him to be loaned out, and I kind of agree with what most of you guys said. It's the waiting. What's to wait for? Just either get on with it or don't. Just It's a lot of sort of hanging around. It's like you either sell them, you loan them, you keep them. Just do something.
Do something. Don't prolong it. Don't. Oh, we're going to put you on loan again.
Because the players going to get fed up. The players going to get fed up and think, do you know what? I want to be here.
If you're here and you're in the chats, if you're here live, you want to talk about a topic, throw it in the comments section. We will address the topic. Gary, I think we'll round up on Saliba. Your final thoughts on Saliba? You maybe say something we haven't said already. That's tough, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything more for me to say. I thought we were going to Martinelli talk. So, but yeah, I started to talk on Saliba. No, I like everybody said. I think we are. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is bad business. So, we might see it come to fruition, but I think it's a waste of resources. in terms
Well,
of money spent and the money they're not going to get back if it doesn't pan out.
And let's finish this Saliba topic up with Ben White. It does look like the Everton interest is not going to come to fruition. It's all but done, signed, sealed, and delivered for Ben White to come to Arsenal for 50.
You believe that?
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. We're hearing all of this. We don't know how
I'm hearing it in
close
more
to it's
positive
done, right?
light
I mean, because we were looking at Buendia, right? We were pretty much in the front runner for that one, and then it seemed like it got taken out from behind, below our feet when we weren't looking. So we'll see if this is one comes. I don't. It better be for me. It needs to be like 90% pretty much done. It just requires a medical and a signature, and that's the only thing outstanding, right? That's the only thing that makes any sense to me, is that deal is done there. I still feel like, is that deal going to help the back line? I think I see. Oh, sorry, I see a Cannon Fodder TBC Alex in the chats there. Welcome. But no, I think the bringing Ben White in, I don't know, does that help us out leadership wise on that back line? I don't think so. I mean, we all had some issues with Luis, but I feel like he definitely brought the leadership that we needed on that back line, and he definitely could perform. And I think Ben White has some of those skills that Luis had in terms of moving the ball out of the back line. He definitely has that. His defense still needs work. He's not as tall as Luis, so Gabriel being taller, I think is okay. So we're okay. We're kind of okay there in a sense, to some degree. I always go back to the first tweet I saw on him. I go back to that. I probably, anybody that's heard me.
You got that Mustafi-ness about him.
I know, exactly. Everybody that knows me, I probably bring that back every time I talk about Ben White. It was the first tweet I saw when his name was mentioned. It was a Mustafi moment from him. But I mean, I think it happens to the best. It happens to the best of them, and he's still young, so it's going to happen until he sorts himself out. But I mean, I think there'll be more pros in his game than cons, right? He might make some mistakes. Him and Gabriel, if they play together, might make some mistakes together. But if they grow together, I think I'll take that. Especially if that's the starting tandem or pairing in our matches. It's gonna be a little bit of a struggle if that's the first. If that pairing goes against Chelsea and is it City? I think we play in those first 3 games. Is that right?
Yep, City away from home. Chelsea at home in the second game.
That's a steep learning curve to start off a pairing, right? A young one, right? We're talking about 2 players. Gabriel's 23, 24, and Ben White is still 21?
About the same age.
Same age. So yeah. I mean, I think Gabriel's been doing it a little bit longer. Or I think, is that right? I think he's been leaned on more than Ben White probably has.
Anyone new to the chats here? If you want to talk about a topic, throw it in there for us. But yeah, I think we should move on from the Ben White Saliba situation. Martinelli, we do hope, does not get loaned out. So anyone in the comment section, throw something in. I'm going to go to Mahir. He wasn't with us Thursday night. I'll go to Alonso and Darren then as well. Mahir, Patrick Vieira seems to be positioning himself, I said earlier in the podcast here, perfectly. He had the stint in New York, and he went to France for a couple of jobs, and now he's going to take up the position at Crystal Palace. He's going to be right there in the Premier League if and when Arteta is relieved of his duties.
This is very interesting because I like the way you said Patrick Vieira positioning, where he could be setting himself up with some sort of experience for now, right? Experience and leading up to when Arteta leaves, that they can possibly say, oh, wait, Patrick Vieira is just here. He's just here by us already. And
he's probably bought a house closer to the Emirates than Selhurst Park.
exactly. Home is home, you know. There's no feeling like it. And I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
back in London.
you know what would also be sick? Somebody said this to me earlier. What if he could be setting himself in a position where also he can get the best out of certain deals? Say for instance, sell us Zaha for 10 million.
Ezzy, right?
Yeah, just undercover agent. Just
Yeah.
listen here. Just it's
Hey,
okay.
it's happened to us, right? Chelsea has brought in all the moles
God.
and basically come in and basically blown up Arsenal, as best as they can. Have done a good job in some respects, right? Seems like every other year we get another Chelsea player that's come in and we're like, are they really here for to help us out or what? What's going on?
Double
Nah,
agent.
you know the real reason.
It's like whenever the double agent check messes up in the
Oh,
Yeah. The only thing, Alonso, is
you know why? Because we didn't sign anybody but Peter Cech in that window. We thought, okay, Peter Cech was going to be like, okay, cool, it's fine, but there are bigger players, like we've brought in so and so.
that's the season.
Only Peter Cech. That was
That's the season we just missed out on the Premier League. As
it.
Don Juan says, he's still 100% behind Arteta. I think he will come good. The problems with Arsenal are bigger than him. Don Juan, I'm still a believer. I think my hair thinks he's a clown. I think he's. I don't like some of the things that Arteta does. It's been well documented what I think of Arteta, but I'm going to give him till the end of October. That will be 10 games into the season. We have to be about 20 points. Alonso, Patrick Vieira positioning. I think he may actually get some loans from Arsenal. That would be a good thing for Crystal Palace as well. This is just me speculating. I've got no news saying there's going to be any loans from Arsenal going to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad for him. I think that I think Crystal Palace are going to improve under him, and I think it'll only be better for them because he's a good coach. I think he knows what he expects from his players, and he's a former captain, so he knows what it takes to make the club better, I guess.
Alonso, it's gonna be a big season for him because they do not want to be flirting with relegation. That would be a bad look for his resume, his CV.
Yeah, so I think he could improve them in the sense of being respectable again, and they're not that far off. I don't think. But as far as him positioning himself, to be an Arsenal coach whenever Arteta does decide to leave or if he gets sacked, there's a lot of promise with him where you see a lot of qualities that Arteta doesn't have, and I don't know. It's just something that kind of bothers me about Arteta, that he doesn't understand the Arsenal way to where Vieira does. Because he's old school in the sense that he's a former captain, as Arteta wasn't quite the captain that we needed at the time.
Yeah, so it is going to be Darren. I think it's going to be a big season for Patrick Vieira in the Premier League. We'll be watching with interest Crystal Palace games.
Yeah, I think because I'm literally as soon as I heard he was, going to Crystal Palace, it's like having a legend back in a way, but not, if that makes sense. I think if he does take over Arteta's job, it will be probably the best thing that the club will have done because he knows Arsenal. He knows how to, he's played for Arsenal for God knows how long. Do you know what I mean? So he'll work with the players on how he played. But yeah, I'm hoping he'll do well at Crystal Palace.
No, do you think he would be one of the likely candidates, Darren? And who would he be up against? Some of the more seasoned managers up in world football, but Arsenal have been known to go this path.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what he does, and I'm excited for him. I'm really pleased for him.
Don Juan wishes Vieira the best of Palace, so we'll be looking on with interest. Gary, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I I guess I do recall when he started his career in the MLS. You know, the team looked really well. I think since I'm in,
He had some decent
they were
players.
playing the
so
Red
well.
Bull. Yeah, I think they were playing the Red Bulls, and I think they surprised him when he in his first season, one of the first games he coached. But I think a lot of the. I always say you kind of want to start. You want to get somebody coming in who's trending in a particular trending upwards, and his coaching career just hasn't been that.
No.
I think he hasn't been able to build on any of his successes, even when he's left for better pastures essentially, and gone to a bigger club. It just hasn't worked out for him, and maybe that's because he's just rushing it. So this might be that step back to work on his coaching and management skills, and I guess we'll see. Yeah, I mean they have Crystal Palace has a decent amount of players that can put up a fight. They Zaha, Eze. I mean the two players that kind of stand out for me when I'm watching.
Gary
Yeah.
Cahill,
Yeah.
players in midfield that are pretty decent.
Yeah, so they have a decent squad, I believe. It's just they have not been able to put it together, and that's going to be his challenge. They probably won't be as deep as he would want them to be, but they definitely, when they have their starting 11 in there, should be able to get be able to challenge and have some good matches. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know about whether he's part of any Arsenal future. Unless we see some serious turnaround, right, from Crystal Palace, in the sense that you look at them and you just feel like, you know what, if he had some better players, things could be a little bit different for him. He's at a bigger club, things could be a little bit better for him. I mean, Arteta has, as far as I'm concerned, has the players. It's just a matter of can he actually get them across the line. So we'll see. But yeah, hopefully he does well. But
But can you imagine bumping into Vieira when he would go down to watch him? Can you imagine just bumping into him? It's like, hey, it's our legend, he's back again.
And it is
Amazing.
it's one of those stadiums. It's an old style English stadium. The fans are close to the touchline, close to the sidelines. So definitely you could have that opportunity to be quite close to Patrick Vieira.
See, I reckon he's moved into what the Highbury's turned into apartments. I reckon he's moved into there just to make himself feel even more at home.
There you go.
Can you imagine that?
I think it's a good appointment for Crystal Palace. I think they've done well there, recognizing he will settle quite well. He lived in London, of course, for many years. He'll settle quite well. I think he would need around Alonso. I think for him to be a success, he would need to be comfortably away from the relegation zone, anywhere between 46 to 50 points for Palace to finish. Would be a pretty decent finish.
Yeah, and like I said before, I think that he brings a lot of qualities as far as insight on being a player himself. He knows, he understands what it takes to have that toughness. I guess the way he played was tough, right? So he wasn't afraid to go make those tough tackles and play smart as well. So I think he'll bring that intensity and integrity to Crystal Palace, and you can only hope for the best for him. And hopefully he brings Crystal Palace back to the flexibility. I don't think they're that far off as far as being a mid-table team again. And
yeah. All right, so that's Patrick Vieira. Anyone in the chat section want to throw a few comments in for diverting the conversation? Ray Anderson just joined. I know you're always active in here, Ray. So if you want to talk about any topics, throw it in there. My hero, go to you. Demands in our players. So from the end of the season, it was 19 days between the end of the season and the start of the Euros. And now we're in the middle of the Euros. At the end of July, it's coming up pretty quick. We're a week away from the final of the Euros. Going to have 34 days till the start of the season.
Hey, Ray, I got to take off, man. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, we're going to go for about 15 more minutes. Thanks,
Alonso. All right, see you, Alonso. Have a good day.
You too, thanks.
Yep.
Happy 4th.
Yes, see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, Darren. We'll get that in as well in a second here. The rigors on our players, 34 days till the start of the season next Sunday.
Yeah, I mean that should be enough. That should be enough time.
And a lot of that will be preseason, as Gary said, starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm just hoping we get the players that we need in the squad, because every day being linked to 10 people every single day. Oh, this one's close. Oh, deal imminent. No, 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 no. Just get us the players that we need in the vital positions instead of wasting more money and more time and more resources on players that could potentially flop. Like I'm glad a lot of people have said about Ben White that it is actually a very good deal. It's just that we're not seeing it at 50, because how many times have we been burned? We're still giving Pepe a chance, but I mean, 70 was a lot of money to spend on a winger. Wasn't that our record that we spent
Yes, still
on
is.
one side?
Yep.
And we're still waiting for results, basically.
I was disappointed. A lot of people were happy to see the end of the season. I was disappointed because some of our players were just starting to catch fire, and Pepe was one of those last few games of the season. People will point to, I think last Thursday they said, well, it was nothing to play for. I mean, that's definitely a valid point. We had nothing to play for in the last 5 games, which it's down to Arteta, but we got to move on here. Listen, Darren, we want to highlight what you're going to be doing in about an hour from now, right?
Yeah.
You're starting a fundraiser, Darren.
Yeah, just want to go back to that topic just real quickly. The player that I'm literally waiting, is Emily Smith Rowe to sign that contract. Then I'll be happy.
Yeah, and that's something I noted as well in my notes here, so I'm glad you picked that point up. Third bid incoming possibly from Villa is the Rimmer.
Yeah.
32.5.
I hope not. Please no.
Is there some kind of encouragement there, Darren, from the representatives of the player, maybe to force a deal for Smith Rowe?
Well, I always thought, because from when I saw a lot of his interviews, because I'm literally a huge fan of him, and he's always said that he wants to stay at Arsenal. So for his agents or anyone to say, oh yeah, go to Fred, no, let him stay at Arsenal. Let him build up at Arsenal. Let him make a name for himself. Get a decent number on his shirt and get him signed, because he's good. He's a good player. So
give him that 10 shirt, right? Give him that number 10.
Yeah, definitely.
And we just relieved ourselves of the Ozil wages on the July 1st. So
I actually want to ask Darren a quick question, right?
Yeah.
Darren, would you give Emil Smith Rowe up for about 60 to 70 million? Say 60 million.
No.
Okay.
No.
I wouldn't either.
Because I'd rather see him grow at our club, because he's a good player. He grew up playing, the youth bit. So for him to leave Arsenal after all that training, that's pointless. So
nice one, Don Juan. 150 million, Jack Grealish, and we might, let's emphasize might consider it, but maybe we'll jerk Villa around the way they've been jerking us around. We haven't signed any players yet, not until I see him on Arsenal shirt or Arsenal website. I believe it. We'll double back on the final transfer bits. I want to get to Darren's fundraiser. We have a few people in here. We can get some awareness going, Darren. What are you up to?
So basically, I'm doing a 24-hour gaming session, which it doesn't sound too bad, but trust me, it is difficult.
Do anything for 24 hours. It's terrible.
Yeah. And it's basically for the Willow Foundation, which is very close to heart with Bob Wilson, who is the founder of it. The link for the Just Giving page is on my page. So if you want to donate, feel free to just share it. Try and get as much as possible to help people have their dreams sort of days out and special days when they're going through a tough time with cancer and serious illnesses. So
they can find that on Twitter at FIFA Boy Darren, right?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Listen, worthy cause. To do anything for 24 hours, even if you just have your hand on a car that you're gonna win, for 24 hours. That's
Yeah.
tough. To play, are you going to be doing it yourself, or are you going to have someone you're going to relay with?
No, well, I've got mates on Xbox that I'll be chatting to as well. So, but it's like it's different games, so it's not like just sticking to one game. So,
And it's going to be on Twitch, right?
yep.
All right.
Yes.
So follow Darren at FIFA Boy Darren.
Yeah, all the details are on my page, so just have a look on my page and they'll see the details. So
Yeah,
Check it out, people.
I just put it in the chat, so you can get a link to the tweet and go from there. So yeah, look at that. So definitely a worthy cause. Go in there, check it out.
Perfect. So listen.
Can I say a couple of things before we go?
Yeah, we're not going yet. We got 5 minutes.
Oh, all right.
Well,
So let me just go through things real quick then. You said 5 minutes, which I think I can talk for 5 minutes.
It's a Ray 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's an Irish
So,
5
You're
minutes.
talking about Emil Smith-Rowe. I kind of feel like once again that deal should have been done already. To the fact that Villa is putting in what's being considered a third deal is kind of, I don't get that one. They should either have been told to just stop because you're wasting your time, or there is something to it. All right, he's on vacation. He's not doing anything until he gets back. Why wasn't a deal done before he went on vacation? Because same thing with Kieran Tierney, should have been done already. So I'm a little concerned about it. Not much really, but it's concerning because it should be business that's off the plate, and then you can move on to the bigger things that require a little bit more effort, right?
Yeah.
I think Arsenal spends a lot of time on the little things, and then the big things they don't really spend as much time on there, and then we miss out, right? I saw something about I think Nieves is still an option for us, right?
Mhm.
Madison was an option earlier. We need depth in the midfield. Basuma's died down. Kalanga, I think, is still coming, right? But until we see it,
Tavares.
yeah. So I think there's some work going on. But like you said, on Wednesday, all the players are coming back.
Well,
probably not
all the players.
All the players that can come back are coming back, right? Tierney's probably not going to come back, but if he was away, I guess they're going to Scotland. He's probably home, right? We're just waiting. He might be home, just waiting for them. Come on, show up.
He's probably going to his mom's. Get some of that good cooking from his
There you
mom.
go. I watched the game from the stands for sure. But I just feel like and the reason why we're starting up in 3 days, but we're starting up in 3 days for those that need it. The fact that Martinelli is potentially going out on loan kind of surprises me, because it's not like we have depth in our wings and stuff, but I was considering him part of that depth, right? And he is an emergency forward if we need him to play up top, right?
Right.
If we need to go down that route, he could do that, but he definitely can play out on the wings. And he brings that energy, and he's been getting enough time. He's been enough play. So I would expect that to continue. Seeing him go out, I think to me that would be just as bad as the whole Saliba thing, right?
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Has Gary gotten? I guess when I shave, you see less of the gray. Is that what it is? Yeah.
And Ray, Gary does know that Tierney has signed a new contract, so things are starting to happen.
No. My concern was that it wasn't done. The 1 hour right after the season ended, which we knew was going to end 2 weeks before that. You know what I mean? Those types of things I just want done so we can move on.
Do you think it's fair to sum you up as one of those very urgent needs fans? Is that fair to?
No, I just think I think if you're planning this thing out, you've been planning it out for a while. It shouldn't be the case that, all right, the season's ended, so let's start the transfer window. You're always working on the transfer window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They knew when all these contracts were coming due, and they knew which players needed to be sorted out sooner than later, right? They knew, and the fact that Saliba didn't go out on loan, and then you hear he had an opportunity to one team. I think there could have been multiple teams that he could have gone to, right? So I think that's just an excuse, right? That it didn't work out with one team when there's multiple. Right now we believe there's like 3 or 4 British teams that want Saliba right now, and he's chosen to go to France. So for me, there's always, I think, if you plan for just one, then you're probably going to fail, right, in terms of loaning your players out. So. Yeah. No, I'm not stressed. I'm just, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. Right? Yeah.
I'm stressed about Emily Smith Rowe not getting signed. I want to buy a shirt.
I mean,
I don't want to buy a shirt
you
yet
can't
until
be-
he signs up.
You can't be an Arsenal fan and be stress free. It just
I
doesn't.
don't know. It comes with the territory for sure. It comes with the territory. But I think it's easy. I always think these things are easy. Everybody tells me they're difficult, but I think they're easier. Certain things about what we're doing can be done easily. I mean, every team at the top of the table, as soon as the season was over, the next things that were posted out there were that certain players had been re-signed, right? So we're talking about teams that were finishing FA Cups and Champions League, not teams that had just finished the Premier League a week before, right? That finished in 8th, that had a lot of business to do. So that's where I feel like,
Saliba chose to go back to France, but I think Ray Anderson, at some point, you have to advise the player what's best for their development as well. And I know it takes probably 3 parties. My hero is going to go to you. Are you gone?
I'm here already. I was just putting on my shoes.
Ready to go. Ready to leg it, right?
He's off to find Vieira. He's gone to find Vieira.
Roadrunner for Tony. Tony was supposed to join us, so I hope Tony's doing okay. There's 3 parties that have to choose to do what they want to do, but you do hope that he's being advised. I mean, I think Gary said we advised Reiss Nelson, what to do. He didn't take that advice. I think with Arteta, you have to listen to the advice. You have to read between the lines, my hero. I really don't like you as a defender. You should probably find another club, maybe in England. But my hero, we're here. We're going to go into our 4th season. My here, Project Rebuild has started. We want to chart Arsenal's climb, ascent back up to the top, hopefully, and we'll be here to chronicle that. And hopefully,
absolutely, with our new segment
forward. We don't want to be 8th place next season.
Oh, we don't want to be saying the same thing, man. We want to come up with some new, fresh. Yes, we got this player. Yes, this player is shining, along with the likes of Tierney and Emile Smith-Rowe, and Martinelli's on fire every single game. We want that sort of energy.
I think this is important. What Ray Anderson, you got to live your life and not let Arsenal impact it as much. I think when you're younger, you do feel that way. You feel like it's more critical to your life, but I think as you grow up, you sort of say it's important, but there's more things that are more important, like family and your health. Ray said he's not stressed, being an Arsenal fan for over 20 years. The first 10, he was stressed, but I'm not anymore. And you get to a point where this club does it to you, Darren.
I'm stressed because I want Emmy Smith on my back. I can't do it yet until he signs the contract. That's what I'm stressed about.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I sign off this thing, I'm not like thinking about this anymore. You know what I mean? That's when I know I'm stressed, because I can talk about it now. We can talk about it, or what we're seeing, what we like and don't like.
Gary, we survived last November and December.
We did.
Those were therapy sessions.
Yes.
When we did podcasts. Don Juan, Project Rebuild. We've been rebuilding since 2004.
At some point, as somebody said, we're building we're building on sand. You start you move a little bit, and then the sand collapses underneath you, and you keep building, you keep building.
Every season is like the waves wash in, and you sink a little bit more. But if you stand still, you're going to sink a little bit more. We can't stand still. We got to keep moving forward, right?
Oh man!
Wow.
Ray, I can picture us 4 and Stan, everybody, and Tony all waiting for that wave. Just bracing for the impact.
Right?
Like, guys,
definitely.
You do know what's coming. Okay.
My only saying to Arteta this year, and it's my motto is don't embarrass us this season. Do not embarrass us this season.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, man.
Usually you save that for Chelsea games. Let's extend it for all 38 games, Darren.
Well,
Right.
say that because I'm hoping to see Chelsea play Arsenal.
Yes.
I'm in London in August, so I get to see them hopefully play.
As you
Very
rightly
nice.
said, Ray, there's 3 persons making the decision, and he doesn't have to listen to the advice that Arteta gives him. Gary?
3 people. Who? Arteta.
Yeah, his agent, maybe the club, and the player.
No, it's got to be up. The player has to believe what the manager's saying for us to even have a chance, right? What we're seeing is that players don't necessarily believe in what Arteta is talking about, right? Maybe the older players do because they're getting a little bit of extra money on the side, but the younger players, I don't know what they're hearing from Arteta that for me would say, you know what, yeah, I believe what you're talking about. Sometimes their actions don't show that. I mean, Nelson should have probably been on loan from day one of the season. Didn't do that. That didn't go. Same thing here. Saliba needs to go. Wasn't gone. Like I said, these things are every time. Believe what you see, kind of thing. And I keep seeing the same thing. So when do I not believe it? If a player really wants to be somewhere, then they'll be there, right? If you tell a player, guess what? This is the future for you. They want to be an Arsenal player. This is how you get there, right? If he wants to be an Arsenal player, does he get there by playing in France? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, especially when he's been playing there for a while now. So nothing, is he improving enough for Arsenal, that we can bring him in and play him? I'm not sure about. I don't believe so.
Well, I think also if the players aren't believing, the fans aren't going to believe, so it causes more friction for the players as well, because if the players go look at the club on a whole and think, is it worth staying, is it worth going? Because of how we've been recently, it's tough for the player to make that decision as well, because they're the ones that are playing themselves. So I feel sorry for the players, if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. If they don't get given the right guidance, how are they supposed to flourish? How are they supposed to shine on a big stage?
Don Juan, thanks for joining us. Always great to have you in here. Well, I think we've been kind of doing final thoughts anyway. Peace out, guys. See you later. Thanks. The agent, the player, and the manager. There you go. Ray Anderson, same thing with Nelson. He chose to stay and fight for his place. Mahir, what do you think about our transfer strategy so far? The players we're targeting, supposedly.
Okay, I love that they are younger. I love that there are younger choices, but I just wish we'd move a little bit faster with priority signings. I'm talking about you want.
Like our transfer strategy, it went sideways.
Like I was saying, sorry guys. Like I was saying, no. Younger players, I love that whole aspect of that. But priority signings should be done very quickly. Like I would have thought Bazuma would have been in, Awar would have been in. Who else? Ruben Neves, or like those signings would have already been done, rather than now go and say, oh, Ben White, Lukonga. I mean, these could be potential players with a lot of star quality in them in the future. But for like right now, man, there's a few obvious deals that I wish we moved fast on.
My hair is a ninja.
He's off to kidnap Vieira so we can have him at our club. That's what he's doing.
So, Darren, your final thoughts before you get ready for your 24-hour stint. You need to go to the bathroom in the next hour. I'll just tell you that much.
All I will say is please keep Emile Smith Rowe, please. That's all I want. That's
listen,
all I want.
As far as confidence goes, I'm really, really high that Emile Smith Rowe will be an Arsenal player next season. Gary?
I hope so.
You're pretty confident in that, Gary?
Yeah. It should be 100%, but it isn't. right? So it's 99%. So, and that shouldn't be the case. It should be 100%. It should be really. This one should be really easy. But the fact that it's still out here, still out here like, no, it's not done yet. It kind of is like, come on, let's get this thing done and moved up. And it can't be I'm on vacation. Nah.
That's my excuse.
I will celebrate big style if he signs an extension with us. I really will.
Yeah.
I'll buy the shirt with his name on.
Yeah. No, it should be an easy one. I mean, if you're especially even if he did sign, you still need to improve your depth anyway. So I don't think that should be a stumbling block, right? It's not. We have him and that's it, and we're still like not at the point where he's going to make it through a season because we haven't seen it yet. He needs to still build up to that point. So, that's why it was kind of nice when we had the Odegaard kind of comments, right? Yeah. So, I mean, that'd be cool if that's the case, Stan. I hope that's true. Yeah. That's a little bit more than Saka, right? I mean, I think is that what that is? So
that's important as well. We have to manage those young players, as I mentioned on Thursday. We can't have them being 24 in 5 years from now and being on 200 grand a week, because we want these players late into their 20s to hit the big money,
They're 2 to 3 years from where we want them to be, right? That's the thing. Everybody, we're looking at them now, but it's like, no, if Arsenal is going to be competing for titles and Champions Leagues, they're still 2 to 3 years away from that. As we're, they're going to grow with Arsenal, so Arsenal needs to grow as well. So we're not there yet, right? We barely have a starting 11, much less a deep squad to make it through a European campaign. So we're a ways away. We're just going to grow. Yeah.
Without European football, we're pretty much a house that's been stripped to the rafters, and we have to rebuild a little bit again, and we have to do it piece by piece. But I think we could go on for a bit, but we'll leave it there. All right. Thanks to Alonso for joining. Tony, hope you're doing okay, and everyone out there who's watching. Thanks, of course, to Gary and Mahir.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Special mention to Darren. Go check out Darren on Twitter at FIFA Boy Darren. He's going to have a worthy cause in about 50 minutes from now. Give you enough time. Don't drink. Don't have a cup of tea.
The rules are not to drop to sleep. You can have drink breaks or toilet breaks. You just can't fall asleep. That's the one.
Yo! Good luck with it, Darren.
Yes, definitely good luck with that. I don't think I'll be awake for some of it, for sure.
No. A 5-year deal with an option of another year. And
That'd be cool.
Emil Smith-Rowe. Cool.
Yeah,
Please say yes, Stan. Please say yes.
Please say yes. That is Emil Smith-Rowe. Make Darren happy.
Yeah, you've heard it here, right? ITK, Stan the man.
Stan
all
is
the way from Copter 7, high over Vancouver. He can see it. He's seen it.
Can I just say as well? I hope Stan's okay, because obviously over in Canada there's quite a lot of heat at the minute. So I hope Stan's okay and everyone's okay over there.
He's up in the helicopter, man. It's pretty windy up there, so I think he's doing all right. Right, Stan?
I'm supposed to be in to grow with the other players.
Yeah, if you've seen any of our past shows with Stan on, he looks like he's up in the copter looking down at the traffic. So yeah,
he's got the same headgear on as well, the ears and the mouthpiece.
The ears? He's got the ears. He's got the helicopter ears. What is that? What are you talking about?
Headphones. I think that the transfer Arsenal is supposed to be targeting are supposed to be in to grow with the other players. And that's the thing, right? The players we have to target, we need to target are the ones who are going to complement the young players who have been carrying us last season. They can still carry us, but we don't want to put the full onus on them, Listen, Mayer and Gary, all product placement, Mountain Dew. So Miles from Thursday night will be happy to see that Mountain Dew. Stan is in the chopper right now.
As you got his screen scrape behind him as well.
We are back. We're back Sundays, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks everyone for watching.
Hey, everyone.
We are out of here.
Guys.
Thanks, Gary, Mahir, and Darren. Alonso
everyone.
too.